Okay, welcome to another shop talk. Now today I wanted to talk about my epic new drill press, which I'm really excited about. But there is so many live edge slabs in the way, or waney edge slabs as we call it in England, on the router sled. I was just thinking while I'm here, why don't I just talk a little bit in depth about how I use a router sled, what it can benefits over using a planer thicknesser, mainly my back. And then next week, hopefully we'll get on to the Voyager drill press, and some bits from RUWI should have come for the top as well. So I'll look at that next week. So most of you may know how to do this, but it might be useful to somebody. I'll just take you through how I use the router sled and a little bit of detail about this particular router sled, made with profile and parts from TITMAN 2, which is an amazing setup. Anyway, let's have a quick look. You can see here there's a little gap. So I've literally just got a bit of an offcut here. You can get some wedges if you like. And all you're doing is just very gently, no pressure, stopping it from rocking. Now it's very easy. If you're using the profile, I've put some sponge on my profile. I've got some RUWI clamps. I'll talk a bit about that later. But on this system, which I know is dead flat, this is very, very easy. But you can do this with a basic table and a bit of MDF if you want to clunk along, so you don't need this elaborate system. But the principle is the same. So we're wedging each end. If we look down the wood, you can see there's quite a big twist. So we want to take a minimum amount off of the top of that twist. And then we're going to over there, and then we're going to flip it over. Once we get a very rough side, we won't get this completely flat because this is going to have resin and it will have another go with the planer at the end. So I just want to get the buckle out of it, and then I'll flip it over and I'll show you that. Now coming down the other end. So again, there's a big cup. We lose quite a bit of the slab here. There's a big cup in it there, and I've put a tiny wedge, if you see, just a scrap of wood in there, just to stop it moving, just enough. So what I'll do next is go and find, zip around, which is where this system comes in, is awesome. Move this around, try and find the high spots, zip it around a bit like this, find some of the high spots. Once you find the high spot, so you find the high spot, let's say it's here, plunge your router until it hits. Now with a Festool router, we will lock down, get this out of the way, we'll lock it down so we've got the depth stop there, which is zeroed. We'll go all over the whole slab to get it at level 1. And then with this particular router, we'll simply knock it up a couple of clicks, like that. You can see that gap, and then re-plunge it, go all over the slab, front to back. Now with this system, it's a little bit different from some of the sort of DIY sleds. You'll see me taking the machine forward and back. Most of the homemade systems, you're going to leave the sled in one place and you're going to push it, unlock it, you're going to push it this way across the wood. Now I've actually found since getting this that this does a better cut going long ways on the slab. And also I'll show you underneath, I'm using a TITMAN bit. So if you look here, you can see I'm using a TITMAN bit. It's got 3 replaceable heads, takes about 1 or 2 mil off in one hit. It's still on the same blades. It's absolutely amazing. I really recommend it. Really good cutter. Now again, you're not going to have this on the DIY sled, but with this TITMAN 2 sled, what happens, it comes with a series of brushes, which this is like the medium height. So the previous slab I did today was a big one, so I used a medium, and this is now on a small one. So you can replace the brushes here. Put these bigger brushes in, drop the middle one in, drop this down, and then, oops, always forget, put this one in next. It's like a little jigsaw puzzle. That's it, and then the main brush, just 2 clips. That's it, hold the whole lot. So we can just put these in here, like that. So now we have a much better chance of collecting the dust. Obviously when you're at the edge of the wood, it's not as good. I could do with a bigger hose on my vac as well. Now while I'm here, I'll just mention, somebody emailed me about getting a sticky locking bolt on this TITMAN 2. So this is something you can buy. Instead of the locking bolt, which is this thing, just sitting in there, and what it tends to do, as you push it sideways, it tends to bind. You can get these little plastic clips, and then you place your locking bolt in, like this, and then if you look down here, see now that that doesn't jam up quite as much. Occasionally you need to clear the track out. This is pretty grimy, but so we line that up, quarter of a turn, then it will move, and then a little lock, and then it won't move, and then we'll cut this way. So in regular speed, I'll do a couple of passes, and then I'll speed it up and do the rest of the slab, and you'll see me flip it. Okay, so you can see that I've taken the big kind of twist out of this end, and you can see here now what I'm going to do. I'm not going to move the lock. With the Festool one, we're just going to crank that up. You can see the little gap appearing there. That's probably about enough. It's probably 1 or 2 mil. I'm going to push it back down, simple as that, fire it up, and then just carry on again. You can see with this router system, very little sawdust. As long as you only take passes 1 or 2 mil, and you've got an empty vacuum most of the time. Very clean, which is quite cool if you're indoors. Now, bits here untouched, but it's not much, and a little bit here untouched. We've basically got the surface flat now, and at this point what I would do is flip it over and run it flat again, so I can keep the maximum amount of meat on it until I've done my resin pour. Now, the other thing you can do, which I may do on this depending on how thin it gets, on the resin pours, you can sand this with a random orbital, put your cupped side down and let the resin seep in. This is not going to be seen, it's going to be underneath on the countertop. So the resin will level it and that will leave more meat on the slab for you. Rather than trying to keep doing it until it's flat, the resin will just come underneath and it will fill all this and it will help. So let's flip it over and see what we've got. Okay, that's perfectly flat now. Because I've put some sticky foam pads on my profile, it doesn't need any clamping, it just sit there. I can see already that we're just going to have a high spot there. So I'm going to go and show you again, me finding a high spot. We can already see what it is, to be honest. The high spot is right down there, have a look. Looking along the sort of gantry of the sled, if you like, really high bit there. So that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to take off 2 or 3 mil there on that corner, and then I'll go round and plunge my router and check the heights. So, first pass on the other side of the slab so far. We're nowhere near straight yet. You can see it's taken off here, all this corner, then it's stopped. and then we go down the other end. It didn't do anything on this side, and I moved it across, and so far I've not got much. If you look, you can hardly see. It's literally just taken off, not even a mil on this very edge. So we're pretty good to go for lowering it on that corner, starting there and working our way across, seeing if there's any other high spots. I can't really see any in the middle. It's all going to be on that left side there. So I'll do this in speed up just so we can see what's going on. I don't know, about half an hour, but I've really taken my time with this because I want to keep it as thick as possible. I've managed to get it dead flat, and we're down to 46 mil, something like that, 46, 47 mil. This side's ready for, if this is the underside at least, this is ready. I'm going to check the other side now, see which side I want to be the top. This will be the bottom of the mould. This one's going for resin, like I said. And then I'll see what the top looks like. Probably won't take any more off the top because I'll be machining off the resin when that's done. Need to obviously clean that up, but that's clean this crap up, but that's another video. So that's it for this shop talk. I hope you found that interesting. I know there's a lot of you out there know exactly what you do with a router sled, but I was doing it and thinking there could be some people that find the video aren't exactly sure how this works, and it is a very, very good way. If I tell you what the thickness was, right, it came out about 52 mil, and we're down to good 46, 47. So even with that big twist, we've remained a lot of the wood, been able to keep the thickness of the wood up. Now, you can push this across a big plane of thicknesser, and to be honest, my one will take that whole slab. The problem is, it's very hard to keep it level as you're going across because of the weight. It's really heavy on your back, which is why, since this router sled's been brought out, I use it because it's so nice to use. As you can see, there is dust, obviously. I'm removing a lot of waste, but the dust is very low. The sawdust is mostly going up the hoover, so it's a much more pleasurable thing to do. I'll put links in the description to TITMAN 2. They make the whole cradle system and the sort of bearings. I've got a little drawing, or cut list should I say, on Etsy if you want to work out how I built this RUWI system, and you can choose however you want to do it. My thing's portable, can go outside. You might have seen in one of my videos. TITMAN 2 comes with a stick as well, so you can walk above it and keep the dust low on the ground. I was doing it in here today. If you want to see this slab, it will be in a future video. This is going to go on the edge of a kitchen island. They've got a granite island. I'm going to be bonding this directly to the island with some resin overhanging for their breakfast bar. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next one.